Discarded and left hungry, my daughter shocked me when she chose her mother over me. Jim's heart raced as he sat in an empty chair, waiting for the gym lights to dim at Maplewood High. The chatter of excited students and proud parents buzzed like bees, yet he felt a million miles away. Tonight was senior night, a celebration of everything he'd sacrificed for his only daughter, Mia. He was ready to cheer her on, to show her how proud he was. Yet, the gnawing anxiety twisted in his stomach. Would she choose him, or her mother? Years had passed since Lisa walked out, chasing the bright lights of the city, leaving Jim with scars deeper than the nicks on his hands from factory work. It was just him and Mia now, weathering life's storms together. And just as he thought he had risen above the pain, she sauntered back into their lives, her words dripping promises of a future free from hardship. Jim clenched his jaw, wrestling with thoughts too heavy to be voiced. Mia, is it true? A friend's voice jolted him out of his daze. The whispers from the crowd were more than just gossip, they carried the weight of judgment. Jim's heart sank. He was a good father. He had worked every overtime shift for her college dreams, coughed up every penny he could spare, and now it felt like it could all slip through his fingers in an instant. Just then, Mia appeared, her long hair swaying as she walked toward him with her usual spark. Dad. She beamed, her smile a sun breaking through the clouds. But Jim could sense at the distance, the unsaid words clinging to the air like smoke after a fire. As the night progressed, Jim caught tiny glimpses of her hesitation, the way she turned to Lisa, almost entranced by her mother's charm. Mia had always been the center of his universe, and now, the very thought of being seen as the discarded parent sent icy fear coursing through him. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The night ended with a flurry of hugs and laughter, but Jim felt the weight of existential dread. Would Mia leap toward the allure of a shiny new life and forget the sacrifices he made? Just as he feared that possibility, nature took hold. Outside, dark clouds gathered, picking up speed as a fierce storm rolled into Maplewood. As winds howled and rain lashed against windows, Jim tapped into the community spirit that once bonded them all. Channeling his inner veteran instincts, he organized relief efforts, directing neighbors to join in alleviating the damage. Amid the chaos, something shifted. Jim was no longer just a factory foreman, he was the lifeline his town needed. Mia watched from the sidelines as her father rallied everyone with unyielding determination. He was fierce, focused, fighting through his own memories of a different storm. Resolute instead of receding, he glowed with a strength that illuminated the fear inside her. As she looked into his hardened eyes, a profound truth wrapped around Mia's heart. Family wasn't about shiny promises, it was about effort, sacrifice, and love. And right now, the choice before her felt like a chasm, a lifetime of memories against a tantalizing future. With every fiber of her soul, she knew a decision was coming. What would she choose? The storm raged on, reflections of emotions swirling amidst the echo of community, memories, and the love of a father. Would their bond withstand the impending storm of the heart? The storm raged on outside, but inside, Jim's heart felt like it was pounding against his ribs. The ice-cold raindrops danced against the windows, a chaotic symphony that mirrored the turmoil in his chest. Each crash of thunder seemed to echo his frustrations and fears. Mia remained nearby, her eyes glued to Jim as he coordinated the relief efforts. He shouted encouragement to neighbors and directed them to help where it was needed most, even as the storm took its toll. She admired the way he moved through the chaos, his shoulders squared, his voice steady despite the tempest roaring behind him. And yet, the conflict within her grew deeper. "Dad, are you okay?" she asked tentatively, stepping a little closer, her pulse quickening every time she thought about the choices looming before her. "I'm fine, just worried about everyone," he replied, though the strain in his voice betrayed him. He tried to smile, but it felt like a mask slipping off. Mia caught sight of her mother through the rain-soaked glass, standing under the awning of the school, looking lost. They locked eyes briefly, and Mia's heart twisted. She felt as if she were being pulled in two different directions, both paths steeped in love yet painfully fraught with consequences. Suddenly, a small group of younger kids ran past Mia, giggling and splashing in the puddles forming at their feet. That innocent joy unleashed a wave of nostalgia. They looked so happy, so carefree, and she remembered the days before Lisa left, when family time felt rich with laughter. Mia. Jim's voice cut through her thoughts. Let us get the supplies for the community center. She shook her head to clear the clutter in her mind and joined him. Together, they gathered blankets, flashlights, and canned food under the flickering gym lights. As they worked side by side, Jim radiated an unwavering strength that made her heart swell with pride. Thank you for everything, she said softly, looking up at him. He paused, his brow furrowing slightly. Of course. You know I'd do anything for you, he replied, his expression turning serious, raw emotion flickering behind his eyes. But would Mia really understand the weight of those words? At that moment, she sensed the truth hanging unspoken between them, a truth too difficult to voice. As they carried supplies outside, the rain started to lighten. Jim squinted up at the gray skies and sighed. One step at a time. The moment felt charged, heavy with the knowledge of change impending. Mia felt the urge to voice her feelings about her mother, about the life Jim had given her, about the choice that loomed closer like an approaching tidal wave. As they handed out the supplies to families huddled together, she caught sight of Lisa across the parking lot again. Her heart sank. Hey, Dad. She stopped what she was doing and turned to him. Can I talk to you for a minute? Jim glanced at the supplies, then back to her, concern washing over his face. Sure, what's up? Mia took a breath, her heart racing. It's about Mom. But before she could say more, the wind picked up, sending a shiver down her spine. Beneath the surface, emotions roiled and surged like the storm near its peak. Mia's mouth opened but no words came, and suddenly she understood that moments like this could change everything. Let us go find a quieter spot, Jim suggested, misreading the tension wrapped tightly around them both. They stepped away from the noise, hearts beating as loud as the storm still swirling around them. But would the heart of their family withstand the revelations to come? And what about the truth Mia longed to reveal? As she searched for the right words, she couldn't shake the feeling that time was slipping away. Would she take the plunge and change the course of their lives forever? They found a small alcove beside the gym, sheltered from the wind and rain. The sound of the storm faded into a muffled roar as Jim turned to Mia, eyes searching her face for clarity amidst the chaos of emotion swirling inside her. Mia, what is it? He asked, his voice low, grounding. She looked down, fiddling with the hem of her shirt. The words danced on the tip of her tongue, daring her to let them loose. I need to talk about Mom. Her voice trembled slightly, a plea wrapped in desperation. Jim's expression shifted, a shadow passing over his features. I know this isn't easy. But you don't have to carry that weight alone. Mia felt the tears pooling at the corners of her eyes. This was it. The moment to let everything spill out. I saw her over there, she pointed toward the parking lot, and I don't know what to feel anymore. I love her. But Dad, you've been here. You've always been here. His silence was heavy, thick with understanding that swirled around them, mingling with the dampness of the impending storm. I don't want to choose, she whispered, glancing up at him, searching for an anchor. But I can't ignore how I feel. It's like my heart is being pulled in two directions and there's nowhere to go. Jim stepped closer, his gentle presence a balm to her frayed nerves. You don't have to make a choice right now. You just need to be honest with yourself. What do you want? Mia chewed on her lip, her chest rising and falling with the weight of her admission. I want this family to feel whole again, but it's not going to be the same. I don't know how to fix it, Dad. That's all right, he said softly, running a hand through his hair, stress etched in the lines of his face. We all just need time to heal. Your feelings are valid, Mia. So are mine. A flash of lightning illuminated his face, revealing the deep lines around his eyes, the years of worry, love, and sacrifice. She thought about the moments spent in laughter, in joy, in pain, and it all felt so thick in the air. I wish things were easier. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt her, I know, sweetheart. Jim took a breath, steadying himself. But I want you to know that whatever path you choose, I'll support you. I just want you to be happy. Then it hit her, the realization that this wasn't just about her. What if I'm not ready to forgive her? What if I hate her for leaving us? Jim's eyes softened, his voice barely above a whisper. Then that's okay. You can feel all of that and still move forward. You don't have to bury your pain to protect anyone else. Mia released a shaky breath, the tension in her chest loosening just a fraction. You've always been my rock, Dad. And you'll always be my priority. The moment lingered, electric and raw, until the gusty wind howled again, reminding them they still had a family to support outside. The storm had taunted their hearts, but had also laid bare truths they needed to confront. Let us get back to helping. The community needs us, Jim said finally, steeling himself. As they stepped back into the swirling storm, both knew this was just the beginning. The winds of change were relentless, but an even greater storm loomed on the horizon, a confrontation with Lisa that was inevitable. Mia glanced at her dad, and though uncertainty still wrapped around her like a shroud, she felt a flicker of resolve start to grow. One step at a time, she reminded herself. Just one step. But as they moved through the chaos of the parking lot, the real fight was yet to come. How would she face her mother? Would the storm within her calm, or would it rage on? The rain fell harder, each drop a drumbeat echoing in the chaos of Mia's heart. Heaving a sigh, she pushed through the crowd gathering to help. People hustled under the dim glow of the streetlights, some loading supplies into cars while others offered blankets to the displaced families nearby. The camaraderie was palpable, but inside Mia, nerves twisted like a tightly coiled spring. She knew what lay ahead. Her thoughts drifted back to the fragmented image of her mother's face at the parking lot. One moment, there was hope, the desire for reconciliation. The next, a cold wave of resentment washed over her, reminding her of the emptiness her mother left behind. As they reached a cluster of volunteers sorting food, Mia quickly grabbed a box of granola bars and handed them off, her hands trembling. She wished it would soothe her mind, but it did nothing to quiet her thoughts. Mia. The cheerful voice pulled her from her reverie. It was Sarah, her childhood friend, bobbing towards her through the rain with a bundle of clothes. You're helping too? I didn't know. Mia offered a half-hearted smile, forcing away the weight of the moment. Yeah, just trying to do something. You're so strong, Sarah said, her face bright with enthusiasm. You've been through so much, and yet here you are. That's real courage. Courage. The word hung in the air. Mia felt anything but courageous. Inside, she battled confusion, fear, and hope, an endless cycle of emotions threatening to drown her, but that didn't matter. Right now, she couldn't afford to lose herself in thoughts of the past or the looming confrontation with her mother. What do you need me to do? Mia asked, pulling herself back to the present. Can you help us set up the donation station? We need to keep things organized. Mia nodded, shifting gears as she helped sort the items with Sarah. Everything felt like a blur, mindlessly sorting clothes while she forced her thoughts away from herself. It was easy to lose track of time when she focused on helping others. Yet every few moments, her mind slipped back to that encounter. As night fell and the storm continued to roar, Mia felt a veil of uncertainty settle over her. She caught sight of her father across the lot, animatedly discussing relief efforts with a local leader. Even through the chaos, there was a sense of purpose in his movements, a steadiness she longed to emulate. But just then, Mia's gaze landed on a familiar silhouette stepping into the glow of the streetlight. Lisa. Her mother looked worn, drenched, and weary, yet there was something hopeful in her eyes as she scanned the crowd until their gazes locked. A sharp breath caught in Mia's throat. The weight of the moment bore down on her. The storm outside was nothing compared to the tempest raging within. "Mia, are you all right?" Sarah's voice pulled her back, but the question felt distant. How could she be all right when everything was spiraling out of control? I need a moment." Mia stepped away, her heart pounding as she battled the instinct to turn and bolt. The past and future collided in her mind, love, betrayal, and an ache for resolution. She moved behind a nearby shed, leaning against the damp wood, the scent of rain mingling with her confusion. She could feel Lisa closing in behind her, the weight of unspoken words settling between them. Would it shatter them apart or bring them back together? Every instinct screamed for her to run, yet part of her craved closure, a chance to find some peace. Lisa's voice was soft, but edged with a desperate urgency. Mia breathed, as the rain poured down, a torrent that seemed to pulse in time with her racing heart. Would she find the strength to face her mother, or was she still too fragmented to look into the very depths of love that had abandoned her? As her breath caught again, she felt the first pulse of that familiar duality, hope against hurt. Taking a deep breath, Mia turned slightly, bracing herself for the truth, but could she handle whatever lay ahead? The moment hung there in the rain-soaked air, heavy with the weight of all the words unsaid. Mia's heart thundered in her chest, drowning out the world around her. She could feel her mother's presence, a tidal pull, drawing her in but also sending her instincts into a frenzy. Would this moment heal or destroy her? "Mia," Lisa said again, her voice trembling slightly, "I know things haven't been easy between us, easy?" Mia interrupted, her voice raw. "You left. How is it easy to just come back and act like nothing happened?" Panic flashed in Lisa's eyes. "I never meant to hurt you, sweetie. I thought it would be better for you, for both of us." Mia's stomach twisted at those words. "You thought leaving was better? What was so terrible that you had to walk away?" With each word, the rain seemed to fall harder, drowning them in shared pain. Mia's memories surged like a flood, night spent waiting for her mother to return, the silence left in her absence, the laughter that had faded like an old photograph. She blinked back tears, determined not to show the cracks forming in her resolve. "Mia, please. I'm here now, and I want to explain. I've missed you every day." Lisa stepped forward, her hand trembling as she reached out. For a second, Mia hesitated. The grasp of yearning tugged at her heart, yet the memories of abandonment shackled her feet to the ground. "What are you going to say? That you're sorry? That you've changed?" "I can't take back the past," Lisa spoke urgently, each word laden with emotion. "But I want to try to fix this. I want to be a part of your life if you'll let me." Her heart ached at the sincerity in her mother's voice, that familiar crack in her walls, her longing for connection, for reconciliation. But deep down, Mia felt an anger rising. "You think it's that easy? After years of feeling like I wasn't worth fighting for?" The silence stretched. Mia's breath came quicker. Would her mother ever understand? How could she bridge this chasm of hurt? The churning chaos in her heart threatened to swallow her whole. I didn't realize how much I needed to be here," Lisa stammered, her eyes pleading for understanding. "I made mistakes, I know that. But you deserve someone who will always choose you." That struck Mia like a slap. Did her mother really understand the extent of her choices? The notion rallied something deep within her, a fierce need to be seen, to be validated. "You say that now, but what about when it gets hard again? When I'm not the sweet little girl anymore?" Mia's voice cracked with pent-up emotion, her walls trembling. Everything she had bottled up threatened to spill over. Rage and despair twined together, and she took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "I can't promise I'll be the mother you want," Lisa whispered. "But I'm here now, and I'm willing to fight for us. Just give me a chance." Mia pressed her lips into a thin line, grappling with hope, doubt, and raw emotion swirling within her. "You have no idea how hard it is to just forget." Suddenly, Sarah's head popped around the corner of the shed, her face flushed and concerned. "Mia? We need you. There's a family with 3 kids who need blankets, and I can't carry them all alone." Mia felt a flicker of responsibility within her, a reminder of the purpose she had just minutes ago embraced. She turned to Lisa, eyes fierce. I can't do this right now. Mia, please. Lisa reached out, but Mia slipped past her mother, distancing herself from the warmth of that closeness, leaving her wanting. As she moved towards Sarah, the rush of the gathering crowd felt both comforting and suffocating. The weight of everything was pulling her under. Just as she stepped into the light, a resolve began to swell in her. What was she willing to fight for? Each step away felt like a step back into her reality, the choice of whether to reconnect fresh and daunting. Mia's heart raced, torn between a family bond and the instinct to shield herself from further heartbreak. What would she choose? And if she opened that door, would it lead to freedom or to more pain? The night pressed in, dark and heavy, and Mia wandered into the storm, the thunder within her echoing louder than the rain. Mia's mind swirled as she joined Sarah and the others. The urgency of the moment hit her like a splash of cold water, jolting her away from the heaviness that still lingered in her chest. Surrounded by the thrum of voices, the shuffling of feet, she gripped the blankets tightly, trying to channel her emotions into something productive. With each child they helped, she could feel fragments of her tension easing, like clouds parting to let through a slant of sunlight. Picture after picture emerged, smiling kids wrapped in warm blankets, murmurs of gratitude from their parents. The warmth that radiated from their simple gestures pulled at her heart, reminding her of the kind of love she was missing. Hey, keep it moving! Sarah called, her breath visible in the chill. We've got a lot to do before it gets dark. But with each shared smile, Mia's thoughts drifted back to Lisa, standing alone in the rain, holding the weight of an unsaid apology that echoed in the depths of her being. How could something so familiar also feel so volatile? She was trying to wrap her head around the thought of forgiveness when the family took their final blanket and disappeared into the night. Okay, Mia said, shaking off her thoughts, what's next? Let us check the donations, Sarah replied, while Mia's eyes roamed the parking lot, searching for any sign of her mother. She didn't see Lisa. Maybe she had left. The thought stung, igniting fresh embers of anger inside her. Mia, you good? Mia blinked, pulled from her thoughts. She nodded, yeah. Just making sure. You seemed distant. A small smile tugged at Mia's lips, but the corners didn't quite reach her eyes. Instead, she felt the familiar twist of knots in her stomach. Distant was an understatement. What lay between her and her mother was a vast ocean, full of waves that threatened to crash any time. As they sorted through the supplies, a woman approached them, her hair whipping around her face like a tempest. She had an aloofness about her, a kind of aura that drew Mia in. Excuse me, could you please help us? Of course, Sarah answered swiftly, but Mia stood frozen, caught between wanting to help and battling the chaos within her. It's okay, Sarah reassured Mia with a gentle nudge. We can handle this. Just focus. Her friend's words snapped something in Mia. Focus. She needed that. The woman began speaking about her family's struggles. Mia's heart ached with the weight of empathy, they weren't so different after all. She listened closely, absorbing every detail and finding solace in shared experiences. When the woman's eyes glistened with tears of gratitude after receiving the supplies, Mia finally felt a flicker of hope rekindled inside her, but as she turned to look back towards the entrance, expecting to see Lisa waiting with an apology and resolution, the space was vacant. Instead of relief, a fresh wave of despair crashed over her. Why was it so hard to forgive? With a deep breath, Mia stepped away, leaving the warmth of the crowd. She could sense the loss swirling around her, a palpable yearning for something, someone, to bridge the gap between the past and the present. The familiar anger bubbled back up, demanding attention. Could she really trust her mother again? Suddenly, her phone buzzed in her pocket, cutting through the noise. She pulled it out, heart racing as she saw the name on the screen. It was Lisa, and beneath it was a text that read, "I'm sorry. I need to see you. Please." Was this the moment she'd been waiting for, or another disappointment waiting to happen? Mia's breath caught in her throat. Her heart hammered wildly in her chest. What if she made the wrong choice this time? Uncertain, yet angered by the prospect, she took a step forward, her fingers hovering over the message, wrestling with her heart. Did she dare reply? In the sharpness of that moment, with her heart on the line once more, Mia could only wonder. Mia stared at her phone, the glow of the screen illuminating the worry etched across her face. Time seemed to slow as she weighed her options. The feelings tangled inside her hurt, hope, and a healthy dose of skepticism. In one quick moment, she had the power to change everything but feared the consequences. Focus, she whispered to herself, her pulse quickening. She leaned against the side of the building for support, blocking out the noise of the crowd. The memories flooded back, uninvited. The times Lisa had promised change but left Mia feeling abandoned, her small, tender heart bruised from disappointment. But the flicker of hope from earlier ignited, pushing through the shadows of doubt. Mia sighed, scrolling through the text again. The simplicity of Lisa's plea cut deep. There was a sense of raw vulnerability in her mother's request. Would it be fair to deny her the chance for redemption? Underneath Mia's turmoil lay a truth she couldn't ignore. She still loved her mother. Before she could lose her nerve, Mia typed, "Where?" A minute stretched into an eternity. Sarah found her, wrapping a comforting arm around her shoulders. "You okay?" she asked, concern lacing her voice. "No," Mia admitted, her voice shaky. "I just got a text from my mom." "Oh." Sarah's brow furrowed as she glanced at the phone. "Are you going to meet her?" Mia hesitated, the weight of Sarah's gaze adding pressure. "I don't know if I can face her. What if she's just going to hurt me again?" "You deserve to decide for yourself. Think about it. Can you afford to let this go unanswered?" Sarah's words were gentle but insistent. As the seconds ticked by, Mia finally felt the warmth of resolve settle within her. She had a choice in this, something she hadn't realized before. For too long, she had let her mother's mistakes command her emotions. Suddenly, her phone buzzed again. Lisa's message read, "Now, please. I'm at the diner." Mia's heart sank as she swallowed hard. The diner was a familiar place from her childhood. Often, it was a cozy corner where laughter should have thrived but had only echoed hollow memories of family dinners gone wrong. "Are you going to go?" Sarah asked softly. I think I have to." With each step towards the diner, her mind churned with questions. What exactly would she say? What did she even want from that conversation? The vivid neon sign of the diner emerged in the distance, flickering against the encroaching twilight. It was as if the world around her faded, the air thick with anticipation and dread. Inside, warmth wrapped around her. Her eyes scanned the tables. Then she saw her Lisa, hunched over a cup, lost in thought. Mia's stomach twisted into knots. The truth emerged, she was terrified. What if Lisa didn't mean it? What if this ended in more pain? Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward. The sound of her footsteps echoed louder than expected in the small space. "Mia?" Lisa looked up, her eyes wide, a flicker of regret and longing crossing her features. Mama, Mia's voice caught, both relieved and pained. They stood, words suspended in the air like unspoken truths between them. But just as they were about to embrace, the bell above the door jingled, and a man walked in, a familiar face that sent a chill through Mia. "Is that you, Mia?" he called, and just like that, everything changed. Mia froze, conflicted emotions crashing inside her. Who was this man, and why did he matter now? The man stepped further into the diner, his figure cutting through the warmth that had cocooned Mia moments before. She recognized him instantly, the world narrowing down to the pit of her stomach. David. The man she had tried to forget. The man whose presence brought memories flooding back, both bitter and sweet. "Mia, is that really you?" His voice, once so comforting, fell flat now. It had a disconnect, as if he was a distant echo from a time Mia had longed to escape. Lisa's voice trembled, drawing her attention back, a silken thread pulling her out of her reverie. "You know him?" Mia opened her mouth, but the words were stuck somewhere deep inside her. How could she explain this? The man who was once a beacon in her life now felt like a thief in the night, stealing the last bit of stability she had. Yeah. I know him, Mia finally managed to say, her voice small. David's brow furrowed, a flash of something she couldn't quite place flickering in his eyes. I didn't think I'd see you here. Is everything okay? Every word felt like a stranglehold on her heart, pressing her into a decision she wasn't ready to make. It's Mia faltered, feeling the heat rising to her cheeks. It's complicated. Lisa's gaze was heavy on her, filled with a pleading she had almost forgotten. We can talk, Mia. Just us, please. But David took a tentative step closer, his expression softening. Mia, I've tried to reach you. I know I messed up, and it's time you knew the truth. No. Mia exclaimed, her voice stronger now. You don't get to come back and just drop truth like a bomb. Not after how you left. The diner around them blurred into a cacophony of voices and clanking dishes. Mia felt the stares of other patrons as they glanced at the three of them, forming an audience to her life's drama. Mia, I'm sorry, David said, desperation creeping into his tone. You deserve to know why I couldn't stay, why I had to leave. Why is it always about you? Mia retorted, claws of hurt wrapped around her heart. I've spent years trying to move on from the lies. I don't need to hear your excuses now. Please, just listen. His eyes glistened, a mix of regret and longing that made her heart ache. Mia. Lisa's voice broke through the building tension. I'm here too. I need you to focus on what we started. We can find a way to heal together. Mia's chest tightened. Two worlds threatened to pull her in opposite directions. The past with David was a raw nerve, memories tinged with pain and confusion. But her mother, whom she had sought for years, was also standing there, a glimmer of hope and fear wrapped in one. In that moment, the weight of her decisions bore down like a heavy cloak. She felt cornered, straddling the fence between the mother she longed to trust and the man who had once been her protector but had turned into a ghost. Why should I listen to either of you? Mia finally spat out, her voice steady despite the hurt swirling inside her. Mia, Lisa whispered, vulnerable yet strong. Because you deserve answers, and you deserve to be heard. Choose your truth. More than anything, Mia wanted to believe that her life could change. Hope flickered, then dimmed, and she struggled to keep it alive. She was on the brink of something monumental, but could she take that leap? Just as she was about to respond, there was a sudden loud crash from the kitchen area, chaos erupting like a tide sweeping across the diner floor. Mia turned instinctively, her heart racing. What was happening now? Stay here. Lisa beckoned as she rushed towards the noise. With scrambled thoughts jostling in her mind, Mia remained frozen, torn between the two critical moments unfolding before her. Who would she choose to trust first, her mother or her father? And what truth would she face when everything came crashing down? Mia felt the rush of panic surge through her as the clatter of dishes was followed by shouting. It was hard to focus on what was happening, knowing that David was still there, watching her with those pleading eyes. She turned back to him, searching his face for something, an explanation, a hint of the man she once knew. Mia, you need to understand, he said, his voice barely above a whisper now, struggling to rise above the chaos. We didn't have the chance to say goodbye, but it wasn't my choice to leave. Shut up. She snapped, her patience fraying. You don't get to come back and turn this all into a sad story. But something in his voice called to the aching corners of her memories. Memories that mingled with the warmth of being held, the promises they once made. Just as quickly, she pushed them away. This was about her life now, her mother standing a few feet away, a figure she desperately wanted to connect with. Another crash sounded from the kitchen, this time followed by the unmistakable clatter of metal hitting the tiled floor. Mia instinctively took a step toward the source of the noise, then stopped, glancing nervously back at Lisa. But her mother had reached the doorway, peering inside with a mix of concern and determination. The restaurant's atmosphere had shifted from cozy to chaotic, and Mia felt the collective anxiety of those around them. Mia. Lisa called, her urgency undeniable. Help me with this. Mia hesitated, feeling rooted to the spot, torn between the man who had caused her so much pain and the mother she desperately needed. But this was her chance, a moment that could change everything. David's expression darkened with frustration as he stepped forward, a voice that once promised safety sounding increasingly desperate. "Mia, please. You can't let her pull you away like this. Don't you want to know the truth?" The words hung in the air, heavy with implications. She could feel her heart race, the allure of the unknown stirring something deep inside her. What was this truth? Would it bring closure or open another wound? Without thinking, she moved towards the kitchen, almost instinctively. As she stepped through the doorway, the chaos unfolded before her eyes. A server had tripped over a pile of boxes, sending plates and cutlery flying. "Are you okay?" Mia called, rushing to help. The server nodded, but the noise continued to echo, drowning out the tension of the moment. Lisa stepped in beside her, scooping up what she could. Together, they began to clear the scene. "You're doing great," Lisa said softly, a glimmer of pride in her voice. "We can handle this." Her mother's presence was grounding, and for the first time, Mia felt a warmth that had been absent for far too long. As they worked side by side, the instinct to protect and support felt natural. No drama, no secrets, just the two of them reclaiming a moment. But in the back of her mind, David's words echoed, questions thrumming in her chest. What was his truth? As they finished clearing the mess, Mia turned back toward the main dining area, her heart heavy with uncertainty. David was still standing there, waiting, his expression a mix of disappointment and hope. "Please, just a moment to talk," he implored, a frown etched across his face. Mia took a deep breath, summoning her strength. She had to choose. And whatever decision she made, she knew it would mark the beginning of something new or the end of what was. "Okay, David," she finally said, her voice trembling slightly. "Let us talk." Just as Mia stepped toward David, a new crash echoed from the kitchen, followed by a startled shout. She froze again. What else could go wrong just when she thought she was taking control? A moment of clarity washed over her. Would they face this chaos together, or would she have to confront everything alone? The truth was out there, and now the question loomed, would she be ready to hear it when it came crashing in, just like everything else? Mia paused, the weight of the moment pressing down like a lead blanket. The clatter of chaos faded slightly, and she could feel her heart beating in sync with the frantic energy around her. David looked at her, anticipation mingled with anxiety in his eyes. And yet, amidst the tension and uproar, something shifted within her. Maybe it was the reflection in her mother's eyes, pride, regret, and hope all woven together. Or maybe it was the sudden gust of determination that surged through her, compelling her to stand firm. "We'll talk, but first let us finish what we started here," she said, her voice more confident than she felt. The chaos in the kitchen settled down, and with renewed purpose, Mia took a step forward, standing shoulder to shoulder with Lisa. They weren't just in a diner anymore, they were on shaky ground, navigating old wounds and opening doors to new possibilities. As they continued cleaning the remnants of the mess, Mia glanced over at David one more time. His disappointment weighed heavy in the air, but she had to prioritize her family. "Give me a moment," she whispered to him, before fully turning her attention back to Lisa. "You're doing great, you know that?" Lisa said, a smile breaking through the trepidation that had lingered in their atmosphere. It was in moments like these, the joint effort, the simple act of putting pieces back together, that Mia realized she longed for a semblance of family again. It felt like healing in real time. The chaos around them grew quieter, and in that moment, something clicked. Mia looked at her mother, the woman who had been absent yet persisted in different forms, and saw a chance for forgiveness blossoming. A chance to piece together what had been shattered. When they finished, Mia turned to face David again. "We can talk," she said slowly, "but not here. I need a moment with just us. I need to know what happened." His eyes brightened, maybe with relief or hope. "Of course," he nodded, and as they stepped outside into the cool night air, Mia glanced back at her mother. Lisa gave her an encouraging look that filled her with strength. Stepping away into the shadows of the parking lot, the air felt charged with possibilities. You don't have to do this alone. You've got your mom. David's voice broke through the stillness, his tone softer now. Mia took a deep breath. This isn't about you convincing me, David. I need the truth. Okay, he said, running a hand through his hair nervously. I thought leaving was the only way to protect you. I was scared of my own demons. I should have fought harder, but his voice wavered. It was all too overwhelming. Too overwhelming? You left things broken. Mia shot back, her voice cracking with emotion. All those nights I spent thinking you didn't take care I needed you. The pain washed over her as the memories flooded her mind. I do care. I always have, he said, desperation in his eyes. When I got sick, I didn't know how to tell you. I thought it might ruin you, coming back into your life uninvited while everything was unraveling. That hit Mia like a punch to the gut. Sick? David, why didn't you just say something? Regret streamed through her like a swift river, and she felt the tremor of sadness in her chest. Because I thought you'd be better off without me. He looked at her sincerely, remorse spilling from his voice. I didn't want to bring you into my mess. Mia felt her chest tightening, bitterness cracking like old armor. But instead, you made it worse. You hurt us both. I know, he replied softly, stepping closer, and I'm so sorry for that. Silence enveloped them, swirls of memories intertwined with what could be. The waning light cast patterns on their faces, the conversation now fading from harsh revelations to almost a plea for understanding. Back inside, she felt the warmth of Lisa's gaze, resilience blending with vulnerability. In those depths, Mia took a small step. I can't promise a neat resolution. I need time to think. Take all the time you need, David replied. Let us go, Mia said, moving towards the door, her heart burdened but lighting up with possibility. As Lisa opened the door to welcome her back, Mia stepped into a new chapter, a mix of healing, challenging emotions, but also a path to something greater than either past hurt or estrangement. One step at a time, the journey unfolded, and despite the storm that had raged, Mia was learning to embrace the light now breaking through the clouds of her past. As they stood together, surrounded by warmth and the familiar hum of community, Mia knew now they would find their way through these broken places, together. And suddenly, all the sacrifices, all the love distilled into this moment felt like a promise reborn. So, here's your moment. You need to subscribe now to ensure you don't miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Hit that like button now to fuel the algorithm. I want to hear from you. Comment below with your feelings about this journey. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful transformation. Together, we can create a community that celebrates every step towards healing and hope.